Oh baby, welcome back to DuckBots Season 3. We are here for Episode 4. We've got a bunch of really great fights lined up for you today this week. I am always joined by my commentary partner, Driver2.
Hello there.
And we are back for some more fights. Last week, we saw some incredible matches. We saw a crazy upset, Spellbreak taking down Imposter. And in the main event, we saw Squish of Oatmeal Robotics go down against one of the least expected robots in this tournament, Goo, in what was a really exciting main event. But now, let's take a look at the fight card we have lined up for today. Beginning of each robot's second fight in the qualifying rounds. Kicking us off, we have Dark Matter versus Revenge of Mouse Mouse in a little Season 2 bracket rematch fight. We have H versus Overhead Death. Spellbreak returning to the ring after an impressive showing against, Imposter, that's right, I just said that. Brute Ninja. We have Pumpkin trying to rebound after a tough loss against Manta. Agent P versus Erosion. And Obsidian versus Ghost in a titanic main event between two very large full body spinners in which would be a very explosive match. Starting us off in this episode, we have Dark Matter. This is the overhead bar spinner robot from Oof Robotics that had many iterations across many different channels. This robot is 0-1, had a tough loss in the first round against Sad Octopus, but they are looking to rebound in this next fight against Revenge of Mouse Mouse.
This is certainly going to be an interesting fight. We have Dark Matter, who usually performs well, against a robot that also usually performs well. These are some nice mid robots here. Now we have the Mouse. It's Revenge of Mouse Mouse. It's Revenge of Mouse Mouse. Who did it fight in the first round? I don't remember.
0-1 start to the season for Revenge of Mouse Mouse as it was taken out by Serial Killer in the first round. This is a robot that has had success in the past here at DuckBots, but they are starting off on an unfortunate run. Dark Matter did get the win over Revenge of Mouse Mouse in the Season 2 bracket, but it will be interesting to see if this new version of Dark Matter can hold up against a more seasoned robot like Revenge of Mouse Mouse. Mouse Mouse, though, both of these robots are not invertible, so this will be interesting to see if one of these robots can get a flip. And we are underway in this fight. Revenge of Mouse Mouse spinning up that weapon and already going head on with Dark Matter. Dark Matter all the way up to speed, looking to land a big shot here, and they do! Mouse Mouse hanging on the edge of the arena wall, trying to work themselves back in. Dark Matter coming to finish the job. And just like that, it's already over. Revenge of Mouse Mouse launched out of the arena by that weapon of Dark Matter. Certainly a statement win here from Dark Matter, rebounding after that tough first round loss against Sad Octopus. Really great showing from Dark Matter here.
Dominant win for Dark Matter. Really nice showing. Beating Revenge of Mouse Mouse in like 2 hits. Really nice showing from them. Have beaten them twice so far in DuckBots, I believe. But next we have H. It's H. It's a big H on a stick. It's 0-1. Very sad. Who did it lose to?
H. Tough first round match against Bloodlust. They had their H ripped off. They're looking to keep that on in this fight. Against an opponent like Overhead Death, this is a robot that is very susceptible to being flipped over. So if H can put that H in a place where an Overhead Death doesn't want it, they can maybe get a flip. But now, Overhead Death, this is a robot that has had unfathomable success in DuckBots, making the SummerSlam semifinals before bowing out to Master. They took a tough loss in the first round against Obsidian, but they're looking to bounce back against more of a joke, fun time robot like H. This should be an interesting fight to see how Overhead Death ends up dealing with that big wall of plastic that is the front of H's weapon. H, they just need to keep going in this fight. They have to make sure that Overhead Death can't rack up too many damage points. But let's see how this one goes. And we are underway in this fight. Overhead Death spinning up that really big weapon, putting it into H, and immediately ripping off a chunk of that front armor of H. And there it goes again, but immediately a good ram by H, almost flipping Overhead Death over even without that weapon. H able to use their face as a wedge, trying to stop the weapon, and they do for a second there. Overhead Death now back up to speed, and it looks like H may be stuck on their own arm, trying to get off, and now using it as a thwack, trying to get in a good attack here. Oh, and a spin attack! An overhead death has been knocked onto their back H. It looks like they're going to escape with the knockout win off of that insane spin attack using their dead arm on the ground. Wow, that was insane.
That was insane. Overhead death just lost to H.
Wow. Overhead death. They were going really well in this fight, up to full speed, ripped a big chunk of that weapon out, and then just ripped it off entirely. But that almost brought H back into this fight, as they then turned this around and were able to use the front of that robot as just a battering ram, able to flip overhead death over, and then in the end, grabbing onto their arm and doing the insane spin attack, almost looked like Maximizer out there, able to flip overhead death over and get the win. Congrats, Yttrium, you've won a fight with H. How amazing.
We certainly did not expect that one from this fight, but Overhead Death is now at 0-2, and H has a win!
Now, moving on to Spellbreak. This was one of the surprise stories for the first round, pulling off an incredibly surprising upset win over Imposter. This is a robot that I don't think many people expected to just be this aggressive. This is an incredibly fast robot. Despite being a Bronco mech, it turns on a dime, and it has a really strong flipping weapon, and we will see how they can do in this fight against a bot like Fruit Ninja, who sports a very large overhead horizontal spinner. They took a loss in their first fight against Pretzel Bite, tough showing against such a strong spinner, but they were able to land some really good hits. They had that one hit at the very beginning of the fight where they just completely launched Pretzel Bite the length of the box, so it'll be interesting to see how this weapon does against a more controlling design like Spellbreak. Spellbreak in this fight, they just need to keep up the aggression, ram Fruit Ninja, try and push him into one of those walls and get a flip. But Fruit Ninja in their hand, they just need to keep their distance, make sure they don't get scooped up by those wedges, and dish out the punishment. So, without further ado, let's see if Spellbreak can improve to 2-0.
And the robots are off. Spellbreak going in really, really fast because Spellbreak is fast. It's Fruit Ninja spinning up their weapon. Spellbreak trying to get an angle, trying to not hit the spinner, but you can't really not hit the spinner.
Fruit Ninja already off with some good attacks, but now a great push into those screws by Spellbreak, trying to get them flipped over. But Fruit Ninja just able to slip away, trying to get that blade back up to dangerous speed. Good little push there by Spellbreak, trying to get underneath and land a flip, and they do, propping them up on the back of their robot. And now Fruit Ninja, they don't have a 3-mech, they're upside down, and this fight is going to be over. Spellbreak is going to improve to 2-0 with 2 KO wins. Wow, this robot has come out of nowhere. 2 impressive showings in their first 2 fights, 2 knockout wins. Fruit Ninja just didn't have any time to breathe in this one. Spellbreak was all over them the entire match. Right there, good little push into the wall. They couldn't get the flip. But then this was the deciding point in the match. Spellbreak scooped them up and got one little flip and able to topple them over. In the end, great showing from Spellbreak, improving to 2-0. Fruit Ninja 0-2. Hopefully they can get some more easier opponents in the next round so they can maybe get a win off. But right now, Spellbreak looking completely untouchable. This robot, this is going to be a tough robot to beat going into the later parts of the season. But now we have Pumpkin. This is one of the scariest robots out there. Tough first loss against Astro Cookie. They struggled with drive issues, but they're up against Manta tonight. Hopefully they've got those drive issues worked out. That weapon looked incredibly scary in that first fight, but they just need to keep that weapon spinning and most importantly keep their drive going. And this should be a recipe for disaster here for Manta. Manta, on the other hand, 1-0. They got a good little judge's decision win against Fina in the first round. This is a robot that, just like Pumpkin, has had some drive issues in the past, but that weapon is just incredibly strong. They haven't had drive issues to the point where they can't move, although Pumpkin can't really say the same for that. But that weapon of Manta, quite strong, quite brittle compared to the big metal weapon of Pumpkin. Should be fun to see these two collide. I think the weapon-on-weapon engagements in this one, probably not going to be an optimal strategy here for Manta, but hey, anything can happen. It's DuckBots. These two robots are very cool. Let's see how this fight goes in the arena.
And the robots are underway. Pumpkin seemingly doing good. Not terrible drive issues. Manta suffering from some drive issues. These are like two wounded animals in the arena right now. They're just kind of like crawling around. I would love to see these guys hit each other, but they're just like scrambling.
Both these robots struggling with drive issues. Pumpkin and Manta both out of the gate, kind of limping around, but now Pumpkin trying to put that devastating metal weapon to use, and a great shot there, flipping Manta in the air. But they're not moving. Can they move? And there they go. The fight is still on. Pumpkin still moving in a huge throw, just completely launching Manta the full length of the ring. That's an insane hit. Pumpkin, this is an incredibly devastating robot. They just need to get that drive issue sorted out. Good little weapon-on-weapon exchange there between these two. Manta right now, it looks like they are really struggling with drive. And that weapon of Manta is not slowing down. You can see that weapon axle starting to pull, and it just got cut in half. Wow. That power on Pumpkin's weapon is just tremendous. But now Pumpkin, are they moving? There they go, back at it. This is scary watching this robot just like go insane, but then just die afterwards. Manta, that drum, without that weapon axle being cut, they are just bouncing that weapon on the floor, and that weapon seems to be down right now. Pumpkin, they need to take the advantage here and capitalize with some devastating blows. Manta just limping around like, I don't know, they are not moving. But now Pumpkin not moving either. This has so far been a fight of two guys that cannot move. Oh goodness.
Oh no. Both of these robots cannot drive very well. We have the very scary spinner on Pumpkin, but Manta's weapon died a long time ago. This fight is sad.
Good little shot there by Pumpkin to the side of Manta. Just trying to work things out between these two. Pumpkin trying to get around to the side and land a hit. But now Pumpkin with a good little push into the wall and shooting them across. As we keep saying, this weapon of Pumpkin is incredibly devastating. Digging into Manta, and Manta just looks completely hindered right now in terms of functionality. Massive shot there by Pumpkin, and another huge shot there. Whole body and a huge shot there, ripping off the weapon upright. That whole weapon of Manta just completely ripped out of the robot Pumpkin, cleaving right through the top weapon assembly, and another huge shot. Manta now missing a belt. That belt has been cut in half. A weapon, a wheel. This hasn't been the most impressive performance for Pumpkin. There goes another wheel. This has not been the most impressive fight by Pumpkin standards. But Manta is just completely disassembled here in the final 5 seconds of this match. Pumpkin with an impressive showing of damage. Wow, that is a destructive robot.
Manta just got consumed. Pumpkin, that weapon is devastating. Cutting out the entire weapon system, getting some nice throws around the box. This fight was completely just Pumpkin die.
Manta just getting completely eviscerated in this match. Just that hit right there is insane. Cleaving right through the weapon assembly, cutting that belt, and throwing that weapon clean out of the robot. Pumpkin is scary. That is an incredibly strong weapon. Just need to get those drive issues sorted out, and this could be a true title contender. I think the judges' scorecard here is pretty obvious. 12-3. Pumpkin finally getting their win, destroying Manta completely. And they're going to improve to 1-1. Manta also a 1-1. Less convincing performance though. But now it is time for Perry the Platypus. It is Agent P. 0-1 start to the season. Tough loss against Warlord in a highlighted fight in their first time out. They are looking to rebound in this one against an opponent like Erosion. This should be tough for them though. We saw them get absolutely launched against Imposter in Random Fight Montage 3. But against another big vertical, Agent P, they need to keep that strategy of just pointing their weapon and trying to get underneath. And they should be good. But now, Erosion. This is one of the strongest spinners in this competition. Able to get up to really high speeds. Really slow drive though. That is their one drawback. But Erosion is just an incredibly devastating weapon. We saw them just completely kill Quicksilver in one hit last time out. But against a robot like Agent P with an actual functioning weapon and robot, Erosion needs to keep up that strategy, point that weapon, land some good shots, and you know, chill out. Agent P versus Erosion. 2 vertical spinners. Let's see how this fight goes in the arena. And we're underway. Erosion trying to get that weapon up to speed. Agent P already doing a good job of not letting it spin. Agent P now trying to find an angle on Erosion, but a good little jab there. So far, Agent P survived 1 hit. It's already done better than Quicksilver has. How funny. Erosion up to speed, trying to find an angle to get a good shot. Nice little jab there. So far, nothing too crazy from that devastating weapon of Erosion until now. Great shot there. Launching Agent P up onto the sidewall, but they're able to get down. That side panel of Agent P is gone in 1 hit. That was insane show of damage there by Erosion. Agent P just having their face ripped off and another huge throw, lifting them off the ground. So far, this has been an impressive display of damage here so far by Erosion. Agent P, what can Agent P do to get back in this match?
Not get hit by the big scary spinner. Agent P needs to get around to the sides of Erosion, get some nice pins, but so far, that spinner on Erosion is no joke. We could get another massive hit soon.
Erosion, another good shot to the front of Agent P. So far, Agent P doing a good job of not exposing that wedgeless side. Landing some good weapon-on-weapon engagements with Erosion so far, and a huge throw there by Erosion. Agent P, whenever they make a drive mistake, they just get mercilessly punished for it. Agent P now trying to find an angle, get around to the sides of Erosion! And there they go, launched clean over the arena high wall. Huge shot there by Erosion, as they're going to improve to 2-0 with an insane win in their first fight, just putting Quicksilver to sleep. And now an insane win in this fight, launching Agent P clean out of the arena. Great showing by Erosion in this fight.
This was an amazing showing by Erosion, knocking Agent P around, and then, now you see it. Now, oh wait, no, it's not that time yet. Sorry. Here it is. Now you see it, now you don't. Amazing. Curse you, Perry the Platypus.
Agent P got Doofenshmirtz in that fight, launched clean over the high wall by Erosion. They're going to improve to 2-0. This is a robot to watch going forward. Very scary vertical spinner. Agent P, sorry man, 0-2. But now, it is time for a highlighted fight. Under Destruction versus Re. 2 bots at 0-1. Can Under Destruction improve to 1-0 or Re stop them? This was, well, it was a highlighted fight, so it was a very bad fight. Not the best fight in the world. Under Destruction was able to show off some good control in this match. Re didn't have many chances to get a good hit with that weapon, and that weapon is just not strong at all. Under Destruction, they were able to use that lifter to get some good flips in, but in the end, this was a close fight, went to the judges. Under Destruction managed to kill that weapon of Re by ramming them to the screws and ripping that belt off, and in the end, Under Destruction took home the judges' decision win, as they will improve to 1-1. Good showing by Under Destruction. Driver 2, what can you say about that fight?
That fight was not the most entertaining fight, but Under Destruction won, so it was amazing.
But now, getting to our main event, we have Obsidian. The full body spinner from Random Robotics scored an impressive win against Overhead Death in their first fight at 1-0. This robot looked lethal in that match, throwing Overhead Death around with that one massive hit. But against a robot like Ghost, in essentially a mirror match, this should be interesting to see. This has been a long debated fight, as Obsidian used to be Gigabyte. That's going to spark some HRCL discussion, can't wait to see that. But now, moving on to Ghost. 0-1. Again, this robot never starts anything off well. But it's not having weapon issues, at least. Tough first match for Ghost against Steel Legion, obviously fighting Whiplash Base. Gonna get out-controlled heavily in that one. But they looked strong, they landed some good hits to Steel Legion. But in the end, Steel Legion's control was able to put them under. Should be a good showing for Ghost, a good test to see how they actually rank in the full body spinner world. Should be a fun fight. Obsidian 1-0, Ghost 0-1. Battle of the 2 beefy full body spinners. Let's see who takes the win in this main event.
Both these scary full body spinning weapons spinning up. Let's see, can we get an amazing monster hit? Oh, Ghost thrown into the corner. Great hit by Obsidian. Obsidian seems to be getting under Ghost with the shell. I did not know you could do that. But Once again, spinning up. Ghost getting thrown again. Obsidian, strong weapon.
Obsidian seems to be getting underneath Ghost, but there's a good shot there, and it looks like that weapon of Obsidian is in trouble, and off it goes. Great start to this match with a few flurry of hits from Obsidian, but that one hit from their Ghost ripping off that weapon, and now Obsidian is reduced to the black box. This is going to be a bit of target practice for Ghost. A good little ram there by Obsidian into Ghost, launch him around, but Ghost, they stay up to speed, dish out the hits, and they should have this fight in the bag, unless any funny shenanigans go around. We've seen those with Ghost before. Good little ram there by Obsidian to throw Ghost off a little bit with that hit. Ghost now getting back up to speed, hitting the wall. Don't do that, that's a silly idea. But now Obsidian underneath the shell of Ghost. Can they capitalize with some good control? So far they've got Ghost now dragging them around the arena. Are we gonna need an unstick? It looks like these two are stuck.
It's the hand.
The hand saves the day. Ghost now trying to spin up to speed, but immediately pushed into the wall by Obsidian. Ghost clearly dominating the damage category, but right now Obsidian able to keep that spinner of Ghost relatively harmless by just pushing them into the wall. Ghost now up to full speed, trying to land a huge shot to Obsidian, but a good little shot there, knocking Obsidian off just a little bit. Back up to speed. Can they dish out the pain? Great shot there, twisting Obsidian around. Obsidian, they need to keep up with that control, or this fight is going to be an easy decision win for Ghost just off that shell removal alone. Ghost trying to spin back up to speed. Obsidian trying to get some more good rams in, but now it looks like that directional indicator on the back of Obsidian starting to come loose, and a great shot there by Ghost, throwing him into the wall. Obsidian trying to line up another push. Good little shot there by Ghost. This has been a very calm performance there, and a great ram by Obsidian, throwing Ghost off just a little bit. This has been a great fight so far, coming down to the closing bells. Obsidian started off really hot, but now Ghost ramming themselves into the wall. Obsidian just needs to keep this up. Ghost doing a great job here so far, though.
Certainly doing a good job. Obsidian scoring in control points where it counts. Ghost dishing out the damage. Certainly been an interesting fight here. Ghost, can it land a few more hits? Pushing Obsidian into the corner, or trying to.
Ghost spinning back at the speed. Final 10 seconds of this match. Can they make a lasting impression for the judges? Good shot there by Ghost. Obsidian looking a little rocked towards the end of this fight, and that's going to do it. Great main event there. Ghost able to stay in control of this match, but this fight started off like a one-sided. Great shot there by Obsidian, and a second one here, just popping Ghost into the air. Clearly the lower shell in these engagements, but then right here, huge weapon-on-weapon impact. That shell of Obsidian looking a little off, and off it goes. Great little jab there, showing the durability of that shell of Ghost compared to that of Obsidian's. Great match. Very fun main event between two of these full-body spinner robots. We'll see how the judges score it, and it should be interesting to see how they score it, but I have my money on Ghost. Let's see. 9-6 Ghost, taking the damage category, losing control, as to be expected, but winning aggression. Ghost wins the war of the full-body spinners, defeating Obsidian, and they will improve to 1-1. That is going to do it for today's episode. We saw some very fun fights. Spellbreak getting another win, showing how impressive they are. Pumpkin, not the best performance, but some just insane damage in that fight. Erosion taking care of Agent P, and a very fun full-body spinner main event. But next episode, Fortnite is back. The devastating Multi-Brain. Quicksilver, they didn't fall asleep this time against Blip. Komodo Dragon with the wedge against Pretzel Bite. And in the main event, it's Bloodlust versus Toffee. That should be a lot of fun. But that is going to do it for episode 4 of DuckBots Season 3. Very fun episode as always. We will see you next time. Adios.
Hasta la vista.